Welcome to the Iraqi Dinar Update channel, your trusted source for the latest news, analysis, and insights on the Iraqi dinar. We provide up-to-date information on exchange rates, economic developments, and key financial trends affecting Iraq's currency. Whether you're an investor, trader, or simply keeping an eye on the market, our channel delivers accurate reports, expert opinions, and government policy updates to keep you informed. Stay tuned for real-time updates and in-depth discussions on the future of the Iraqi dinar. The exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar is once again at the center of attention, with reports emerging that seem to contradict each other, adding to the complexity of the situation. One article states that the dollar has significantly declined in Iraq, with the exchange rate at 146,000 dinars per $1,000, indicating a strengthening of the dinar against the dollar. On the same day, however, another article presents the opposite claim, suggesting that the dollar has risen against the dinar, warning of new economic repercussions. This pattern of seemingly conflicting information is not new and has been observed in other cases of significant currency adjustments. A closer examination of historical currency revaluations, particularly in Kuwait and China, reveals a similar strategy of misdirection preceding major shifts in value. Before a country alters the value of its currency, whether through revaluation, reinstatement, or a shift in exchange rate policy, the media landscape often becomes flooded with contradictory reports. This serves multiple purposes. It keeps speculators uncertain, prevents premature market reactions, and allows central banks and governments to execute monetary policy adjustments with minimal disruption. In the case of Kuwait, prior to the revaluation of the Kuwaiti dinar following the Gulf War, reports circulated with conflicting narratives. Some articles indicated that the Kuwaiti dinar was poised for a sharp rise in value, while others suggested a prolonged period of instability and depreciation. This back-and-forth effectively created an environment where no single piece of information could be relied upon to predict the timing of the actual change. When the revaluation eventually occurred, it caught many off guard, minimizing speculative behavior that could have disrupted the transition. A similar pattern was observed in China when the yuan underwent strategic shifts. Prior to China's major currency adjustments, reports emerged indicating both strengthening and weakening trends, creating confusion among investors and currency traders. This strategy helped the government maintain control over the market, preventing large-scale speculative attacks or capital flight that could have interfered with their monetary goals. Applying this perspective to Iraq, the conflicting reports about the dinar and dollar suggest a deliberate attempt to create uncertainty. If Iraq were preparing for a significant change in its exchange rate policy, whether through a controlled float, de-dollarization measures, or a broader monetary reform, it would be in the government's interest to prevent market actors from accurately predicting the moment of transition. By releasing contradictory information, authorities can discourage excessive speculation, allowing them to implement changes in a controlled manner. Another factor at play is the broader economic and geopolitical environment surrounding Iraq. The country has been under significant financial and political pressure, particularly with U.S. sanctions affecting Iraqi banks and limiting access to international dollar markets. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has been working on measures to stabilize the dinar, including strengthening regulatory oversight and reducing reliance on illicit dollar flows. These efforts align with broader economic reforms aimed at integrating Iraq's financial system with international standards. The role of international institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank also cannot be overlooked. Iraq has been in discussions with these institutions regarding economic reforms, fiscal policy, and monetary stability. The IMF's Article 4 consultations with Iraq provide insight into the recommendations being made to improve financial stability, and these discussions likely influence policy decisions that affect the exchange rate. Historically, when a country prepares for a major shift in monetary policy, it often aligns with international financial institutions to ensure a smooth transition. In Iraq's case, if the government is indeed planning a move toward a new exchange rate mechanism, it would need to carefully manage public perception and market behavior. By allowing conflicting reports to circulate, policymakers can create a buffer against excessive volatility, ensuring that when a change does occur, it happens on their terms rather than being driven by speculation. Another important aspect to consider is the role of Iraq's financial infrastructure. The introduction of new banking technologies, digital payment systems, and greater transparency in financial transactions all point toward a broader modernization effort. These developments suggest that Iraq is laying the groundwork for a more stable and internationally integrated monetary system, which could eventually support a shift in exchange rate policy. The presence of conflicting media reports also serves to test market reactions. By observing how investors, businesses, and the general public respond to different narratives, authorities can gauge the level of speculation and assess the potential impact of future policy changes. If the market remains relatively stable despite contradictory reports, it indicates a level of resilience that would support a smoother transition when an actual revaluation or policy shift occurs. In the past, currency revaluations have often been accompanied by strategic misinformation campaigns designed to protect the integrity of the process. This approach minimizes the risk of capital flight, speculation-driven volatility, and economic disruptions that could undermine the benefits of the revaluation. Iraq appears to be following a similar pattern, suggesting that significant changes. Ultimately, the conflicting reports about the dollar and the dinar should not be dismissed as simple media inconsistencies. Instead, they should be viewed as part of a broader strategy to manage expectations and control the timing of any potential currency adjustments. As Iraq continues to navigate its economic reforms, the coming months will be crucial in determining the trajectory of the dinar. While it is impossible to predict the exact timing of any exchange rate changes, the presence of contradictory narratives suggests that policymakers are actively working behind the scenes to prepare for a transition. Whether this will result in a revaluation, a managed float, or another form of monetary adjustment remains to be seen, but the patterns observed in other currency shifts indicate that the current landscape is one worth watching closely. Thank you for tuning in to the Iraqi Dinar Update channel. We appreciate your support and engagement as we continue to bring you the latest news, analysis, and updates on the Iraqi dinar. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an important update. Stay connected with us for real-time insights, expert discussions, and market trends. Until next time, stay informed and keep watching for the latest on the Iraqi dinar. See you in the next update.